We got a nice full house right there. Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the #1 grinder. One of the best kept secrets on social media, the best of the business. Salute, salute, salute. Shout out to the miss. Shout out to the miss. Let me shout out Sharon King, what's good? Brother Jesse, what's good? Hold on for 1 second, bro. I will. What's going on, nephew? Let me get these out the way first because I want to say a little stuff. So let me get the way. Shout out to my underrated one family. You know who you are. Let's keep on standing on the truth and fight for the truth. No matter what, let's fight for the truth. There's no middle on the truth or wrong. There's no middle. Let's keep on fighting for the truth. No matter what. No matter what. Fight for the truth. Fight for the truth. If y'all can hear me, press 1. Please press 1. Again, shout out to my underrated one family. Shout out to No Duck Zone podcast family. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to hashtag TWT family. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the mighty LDBC family. Stands for Lions Den Basketball Community, also basketball community. Shout out to y'all. If y'all can hear me, press 1, please, right now. Press 1. If y'all can hear me, press 1. All right. I'm gonna say watch out, yeah, watch out for the link brother Jesse. Watch out for the link. I'm gonna send the link through email. I'm not gonna put in the chat. There you know right now. All right. Okay. Yeah, need some ones. Um, we did this yesterday, but it was a lot of commotion that was there. So I had to scratch that out. And I said I'm gonna visit. I'm trying to stay to my word, trying to stay to my word. Sometimes I don't, please don't get mad at me. But I'm trying to stay to my word. So we back here. Um, stay right there, Jesse. I'm gonna send to you, Just stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Yesterday makes 57 years that Dr. the late great Dr. Martin Luther King had lost his life. He paid the price for humanity. Paid the price, especially for our people. Paid the price. The system killed him. Ifs and buts about it. Paid the price. Just at 3 years before that, Brother Ali Shabazz, better known as Malcolm X, paid the price. Paid the price. Late February 1965, 3 years before that. And countless others have paid the price. So let's talk about it. What it means from 57 years and even now. What does it mean? Now, what you'll see in the background, that's the last demonstrate that that the late great Martin Luther King had went to. Is that now I am a man. Right? You see that. Y'all see that. I'm a man. Because the sanitation, the city of Memphis, Tennessee, did not want to pay the black workers. They paid them, but they would give them little for nothing. They was giving more money to the white workers. Treat them as second-class citizens. Oh, you in New York City, nephew? I want people inside, outside, come on in. I am a man. I am a man. And I know people gonna say, "Oh, no, but black men support." No, quite a few black women have support that movement back then too. Husbands that support their husbands. I am a man. Look at that. They said, black men, we don't stick up for each other. We don't stick up for our families. That's back 57 years ago. Even before that, us black men, we stick up for each other. And the black woman stay alongside with the black man. Even was getting held to. It's still happening today. It's still happening today. But we still got some black men and some black women fail to understand the continual fight for African descent families. We can say around the world, but we're gonna stick in this USA. They said Martin Luther King, he made mistakes, yeah, but along the way, he's fixing it. Because I don't remember, I asked my late mother and father, I said, I watched that because I was young. I didn't really remember all that. They said, yeah, you watched it and we was crying. He said, why he was crying. And they told me that, when I was by my preteens, most likely around the preteens. And along the way, in the school, I think I think 79, 1979, 1980, something like that. I did a book report of the late great Dr. Martin Luther King. Now that was during the time throughout the years, there was people fighting to make sure Dr. Martin Luther King had a national holiday. Now he finally got it within 3 years after that. And Arizona was opposed to that, as we already know. It was another state I forgot, but it was Arizona. And so I did a book report, and I was talking about these times from, I ain't talking about the beginning, not the boycott of Montgomery mid 1950s all the way, but I was talking about from after 1964 up to his death in 1968. Now I ain't said he did not make an impact back then, but I didn't want to talk about the civil rights movement. Yes, nephew. So I talk about after Malcolm X going through the time of the Malcolm X, the day he was getting threatened in his life, and he succumbed to it. As we already know, he got assassinated. Like it said, in late February 1965. Now, I was talking about those turbulent times up to Martin, and then gonna find out the teacher was a white woman. Said, why are you right about that? So that's what I see. And this is the truth. So she called my late parents. You want the phone? I could dial it for you. But I wasn't afraid to stand against the system. But I know as my parents, they gotta make sure to protect the son. So you know what I mean? So I believe back in 1980, because I think my late youngest brother, he was going on one at the time. So she had to bring him. So I was 14. If y'all can continue to hear me, press 1. Before I continue, now I'm gonna see Wait, Jesse, I'm gonna send you the email any second, any minute now. So watch out for it. If y'all can still hear me, press one. Please. Please press one. Oh, Jasmine, thanks for coming back. Thank you. She was on earlier. Thank you. Thank you so much. So after that, so got back, and the sad thing about it, the assistant principal was a black woman. And she said she was on side with the white woman. Oh, well, you need to do that. I said, Dad, hey, you know the system, and you know what I mean? Like, me as raised as being Jehovah's Witness, right? About spirituality, pray, Jehovah's stuff, but at the same time, standing to the system. So I wasn't shaking, you know what I mean? So it came up there. I know my mom said, well, so my father, like, okay, yeah, he told us what he write about. I said, this is how you feel. It's the truth. Write about the truth. That's that's what it is. Now at the time, me and my father had a little, wasn't all that good, you know what I'm saying? But we got better on the way from, I said, from 1981, 1989, we had the best relationship, you know what I'm saying? But before then, it was a little shaky. But my father's right there, And your nephew, you could have waited a little later doing that because I was talking. I'm not saying you can't share a thing out, you know. Okay, just let me finish this up, brother Jesse. And so, and I want y'all to subscribe yourself to it, But nephew, you could have waited. I was talking. Thank you, But as along the way, right? So my father, that's how he believed. So my mother guided and everything. She protect her son, which I understand. She protect the son. So but they said, well, that's what happened. She said that's what happened. So what happened was, talk to the black woman, the assistant principal, the principal was no way because they would making that rounds around the district of the schools and stuff. So she called, like, so I'm looking like, I know I wasn't getting punished for it, so she said, well, what we're gonna do, we'll give you A minus. Why I gotta get A minus for if I'm telling you the truth? I see the archives because at that time in the library in certain schools, they had like little library. You could watch the archives, the old archives, so what's the problem? Did my reading, my research and all that, so we A minus, and my M.L.K. said that's messed up. That's him to write something that what means another Martin Luther King and his death and all. But see, at the same time, I understand the system how it is because years ago, the Black Panther Party had told show us about the system, how it works, in the United States and throughout the world and stuff, Yeah, excuse me, I go back because I have to go back on the times that I was talking about right now. And I know there's some woman can't probably hear it. Oh, you talking about us? And no, I'm going by. I'm going by what I know. I'm going by what the truth. Because there was some black women in the school system. We failed to understand the young black boy existence. They didn't give us tools to succeed. And I'm not, that's not talking about the young black girls. I'm not saying that. Yeah, you tools on that, but they consider us as a threat. We can't be still. Even when we talk up, it seems they go, we loud. So, and I never forget my aunt and uncle. They came late. Aunt and uncle, they was with them too. And so, like, they was in the hallway sitting down, you know. And they was like, so what? They read it too because they was at the house a day before that, you know. I hope y'all listening. Some of y'all listening to me, you know. And they was agitated over that. I can say actually they was angry. And there was other students too was talking about they was writing almost the same thing about the times too, and their parents had to come up, and the parents said, "What's wrong?" They right, so it was not just me, and so okay, so what happened was the parents got together, they changed numbers, so they took they went up to the restaurant because we've been through something that the kids never been through. You know, I've been through it, so I know. And then they took us out, and we had a good time. You know, let us know. You know what we done. You know, we stand up. We stand up for what's right. The sad thing about that, it was when I said it was all young black boys. What's so sad about it? It was some young black girls that even stand up, but the parents said, "No, no, you shouldn't do that." But it's right, and you know they made it correct and stuff like that, and it was sad when I seen that. You know, also, as other people said, but they ain't like they don't even, I ain't gonna say they don't know the system. I cannot say that, but I'm talking about for me, it was sad. Like, and when I never get my late father say, you know how it is. It was sad because they trying to make us do the same, nothing, man. And so, and I never forget my late aunt. She told me that she said, when you get older, when you with a young lady, make sure she be right there with you. She's not willing. She ain't the one. Don't worry. I'm gonna tell you more about, you know what I'm saying. Now, she already told me before, but you know. And understand this, back in 1980 when it happened, 3 years before that, I got violated. I ain't gonna get into that. You know, Jasmine, you know what I'm talking about. You heard the story. Now I shook my head like, Mom, Dad, you know, she's supposed to be blind. You know what I mean? Like, my father, I said, so my mother understood what's going on and everything. I said, well, you know, you got to understand, you know, our son grew up, you know, he know the system. Everything that happened, he had to grow up and understand the system. So you have to understand that. So we gotta prepare. I said, you know, he knows what's going on. So we gotta let people be. We gotta be parents. I ain't like what's going on. Now I was 14 at the time. I ain't like that. You know, because I understand our people in the past, you know, had laid the foundation. You know, they died so we can get where we at right now. I understood that. I understand the responsibility. I understand the burden. Even though I was a at the time I was a teenager. I understood that. Still got ways to go, right? I understood that, but I understand the fundamentals about it. Jesse, watch out for your watch out for the link. All right. So we have to understand that certain things has not changed. Jesse, watch out for your link. And again, anybody asks you to put the link in the chat, I'm not doing that. So in case anybody that wants to come up, if I don't have the email, I will put my email in the chat. Y'all can email me and let me know y'all want to get on. That's how I'm gonna put you on through the email. Yeah, he is. Throughout the 20th century too. So I sent the link out. Shabaka was talking. I had to cut it out, and I didn't want to cut because he's making some great points, and then the internet was acting all stupid and stuff. So I said I'm gonna scratch it out and come back later. And we ended up having a good time at the restaurant and stuff. But I was thinking about it and on our way home and stuff. Those are my friends. And they proud of them and everything. He said, man, thank you. I said, yeah. Not everybody's gonna be on our side. You see how the system, that black woman turned against us, and then be other people like, oh, you talking about women? You talking about? There was black man too, but she was assistant principal, and even then some teacher was not side of us either. Yeah, yes sir, yes definitely. So I send the link up. The brother Jesse, but it's that it is for me. It's just like I said yesterday, that is sad because we don't we not showing no respect of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King 57 years ago yesterday, and told what impact it made us. You know, look throughout. I'm not saying anybody in the space or anybody in social media ain't doing it. I'm not gonna say that. No, look, they probably was doing it. Is they not? And sometimes certain parts of social media don't want to show that. So we got to understand that too. But what I've seen from this space, ain't nobody really talk about it. So I'm gonna take it. Well, I'm gonna take it upon myself being a leader until we won't talk about this. So we wait until some people, Jesse and Shabbat come on. As you said, as y'all see the thumbnail, even the background. I am a man. I am a man. And the late great Dr. Martin Luther King, he won so sorely that the rest of the Christian um, community to understand that us as a people, we part of God's family. That they fail to understand that. Because there are some still think that we slaves. So you still think that we second class citizens, but they got nothing to preach the Bible. So the late great Dr. Martin Luther King was going after them too. I am a man. I am a man. And that's all it is. Hold on, family. I'm a man. Hear all that. I'm a man. Respect, respect. You know? So we're gonna wait some people come on. And it left an effect on me after that. You know? Like I say for that but never forget that. Lessons to be learned. That even there are some people that are scared and refuse to stand up for the truth. No matter you're a black man or black woman. Another reminder. And the ones that put their life, pay the price. Some black men and some black women, they failed to understand that. They don't want to understand that. And the sad thing about it, some of our people, right now in these times, fail to understand that. So we got Shabaku. Welcome, brother. I'm back,
Hey,
trying to keep my
how
word.
you? Yes, sir. How you doing, brother? How you be?
Right now, I'm pissed off as yesterday.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay, okay, and I
So
could understand that. Yeah, and the cold part about it, man, and these are times to be pissed off about. Is because, see, man, these how should I say, those with that certain persuasion, if you know what I mean, are showing up their resources. You see what I mean? And then old boy up here crashing the economy. And let me turn down this idiot box, okay? Because they got this dude Samir Kanish on. And it's kind of like, man, that you get these ultra conservative ass individuals who are trying to justify old boy's racism and his hatred. You say, so then what happens is that when we speak out against it, then all of a sudden we are the bad guys. You see what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man. And it's really crazy. Now, the photograph you have behind you right there, man. Now let's look at all our people who went out there, man, and died and got hit with fire hoses, man, had police dogs sicked on them. You know what I'm saying? And then as we did the assassination of Dr. King, you know, which was the anniversary of the assassination. And as you know, when Dr. King was assassinated, man, you know, the Black Panthers went on the war path. You say, but that's the part they don't want us to know.
I'm glad
That's
you brought
part.
that up because you know what? Because I was
Yes,
getting ready
sir.
to say that. That's when
Yeah.
that's when my thing was. That's when I had to cut it, delete it, and come back today. I'm glad you brought it because every time we talk about the assassination, they never bring back the Black Panthers, how they went on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, most definitely. You know what I mean? And then, Dr. King, he was a man of peace, man. You know what I'm saying? He never hurt nobody. Although, you might have disagreed with him philosophically, but you ain't never heard Dr. King out there associated with any kind of violence except the violence that was put on them. And then you had that old frog-faced rascal down there in Alabama. Segregation yesterday, segregation today, and segregation tomorrow.
Talking
Man,
about
later
George
for George
Wallace.
Wallace. You know it. You know what I'm saying? Later for George Wallace. And then another racist that you had, one of his contemporaries, was a dude by the name of Strom Thurmond, and I think he was out of South Carolina, I think. He was out of one of the Carolinas. But then, of course, old Strom, he used to like to go see them young, pretty black girls. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah,
there was
I
a
mean to
woman.
stop you there. I want you to hold that thought. Now, when he told us
Okay.
Strong Thurmond is one of the few Democrats back in the late 1920s that started the Dixiecrats. He's one of the
Yeah.
longest senators ever. I just want people
Yes,
to
sir.
understand. I know you know. I just want people to understand. There's our Dixiecrats was part of those times too. I ain't mean to cut you off, brother.
Absolutely.
Sorry. I just want people some people to know.
Oh yeah, oh yes, sir, absolutely, and thank you for recognizing. And then keep in mind, it was the Dixiecrats that brought you the Ku Klux Klan. You see what I'm saying? And
The
then keep in
policies
mind,
too.
exactly. And then keep in mind, black folk. Now, let me make sure I got my history right for my elders, so I'm passing it down right. Okay, in 1960 is where the black community had flipped to Democrat, voting for JFK. You see what I'm saying? John F. Kennedy, who beat Tricky Dick, Richard Nixon. Yeah, he beat him, as a Democrat. But keep in mind, man, is that they were undercovertly suppressing the civil rights era as well, too. You see? And then what we did last night on the StreamYard, we did Dr. King's last speech that he gave April 3rd, 1968, the day before he was assassinated. You see what I mean? And then, and when Dr. King was assassinated, hey, man, black militancy came out is because you even had a lot of people, man, who was with the civil rights era, man, that says, no, man, this is a little bit too much. So what had happened was when they saw that we was coming together, man, then this is when they started the outside forces in the early 70s, man, to keep it divided within with all the infiltrators. And I think Brother Chad mentioned there was this guy, man, William O'Neill, who set up Fred Hampton to be murdered in Chicago in 1969. So what they did, yes, sir. So what they did underrated, they went up to him, well, hey, man, we hanging this here over your head. So therefore, for this case not to hit you, you got to do this. You see, that's extortion. You see what I'm saying? That's extortion. Yeah, say, and old J. Edgar Hoover, he declared him public enemy number one. Also, too, J. Edgar Hoover, years earlier before that, in the late 50s, declared Dr. King to be the most notorious liar in the United States. You see, and the cold part about it is, man, is that you got these dumpsters, man, who are sitting up here believing this garbage. They say just like down there in the state of Florida, where they had the good old boys getting up there. When are you NGRs going back to Africa and all this old type of stuff like that? You see, the economy is crashing. say it's systemically designed to do this. And then old Stinky Bird, I checked my Twitter account and they says, well, you putting out here hateful speech. How am I putting out hateful speech when all I'm advocating is that we shore up our economical resources and build for ourselves? How is that hateful?
I don't
Say,
get
how
that
is
either.
that hateful? Yeah, how is that hateful? Of us building our own businesses, man, because we still got to have clothes, we still got to have food and agricultural products. Yeah, see, then of course, in this day and age with high technology, we need our young people to study more of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You see what I'm saying? So we could build up our own infrastructures and do for ourselves, because the day of the house Negro and the ass scratching, yassa bossing is over. You see? But they tell us, well, you're a black racist guy, you know, and all this other type of stuff. Man, we in no position to implement any kind of racism. Just because we're talking about being self-sufficient is not racism. They always have said, well, you Negroes is too much on welfare and don't want to work and go out there. Yeah, we need to work for ourselves. You see? And then when we do work for ourselves, well, that's reverse discrimination. So I always remember, if they're going to sit up there and say that this is reverse discrimination, then this means that they are acknowledging the fact that you had discrimination against us in the first place. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there was a politician and a college professor who sat on the University of California Board of Regents by the name of Ward Connolly, who had circulated an initiative in California to quote unquote get rid of racial quotas. Google the Bakke decision. Alan Bakke, who was a white dude who was trying to go to medical school at the University of California at Davis, which is near Sacramento, right? And he's going to say, well, this is reverse discrimination, and, you know, and affirmative action is bad and all that. But as Brother Chad pointed out, the main benefactor of affirmative action was white women. Once again, the Beckys. You see what I'm saying? They are dangerous. You see what I'm saying? And it looked like you're trying to get somebody else to come in there. Yeah, say so. That's what it is, big homie. You know what I'm saying?
Greetings, Shabaka.
Yes. Yeah.
Greetings,
Who is?
Reddit
Yeah.
Darkness. Greetings, chat. Greetings, Shabaka.
Hey.
Yep, like you said, the number one beneficiary of DEI and affirmative action is white women. So they got this hands off march going on. And I suggest we keep our black behinds at home. Don't participate in none
Yeah.
of that nonsense.
Yes, sir. And if you got any money in the stock market, man, you better go get it out of there, because it's crashing.
Yeah, it's not our fight.
Right. Exactly. It's not our fight. Ain't
It's
got
not our
nothing to do with
fight.
it.
And understand this,
Yeah.
like some black women. And then again, let me state that before I continue. We not talking about the black women that understand the time, that stand with the black man and fight with us. And we not talking about Joe. We talking about the ones that falls into that white supremacist policy, talking about feminism. Now, understand what I'm saying is this: they want our women to go against our men, but see, they go with their men because they got to swallow that up and be with the power.
Yes, sir.
And so we have to understand there are some women back then had left us as a people. And I had to, you know, I keep on saying Angela Davis.
Yep.
She is a Benedict Arnold because she left from us to be with a feminist.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And then also,
and so sometimes us as a people right now still accepting us, accepting her. And then there's others too, even men too.
Yeah. But don't nobody want to sit up there and come out and support Tupac's auntie. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our sister down there in the Caribbean, and she will be 78 years old this year. So of course we're gonna pay tribute to her. You see what I mean? And whatnot in the future. And you're more than welcome to get with us underrated on that. But what it is though, Black family, why is it that each time that we try to go up here, quote unquote, like they say, well, you colored need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and then when we try to do that, and then here comes all these outside forces to derail us from our objective. And this isn't racism. You see? This isn't racism. You know, because we're in no position to implement any kind of racism. What police departments do we control? What banks do we control? What major stocks do we control that you see that's crashing right here by the minute? You know what I'm saying? We ain't no position to implement any kind of racism. This is why they want to have all our men folk going out here wearing dresses. And who was that there you were saying, Brother Che, who had the white glove and the white glove and pull him out, no boys homeless out there.
Billy Porter. Oh, Billy
Yeah.
Porter's punk ass. And then here's the thing about you. The new racism is the denial of racism. These mothers will deny it until they blow in the face, but they won't deny the benefits they get from the systematic racism on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You can miss me with that bullshit. That march ain't got shit to do with us. They can hold their own nuts with that shit.
Because our very survival as a people is dependent upon us becoming self-sufficient. And then also, too, Brother Che, another one we got to come down on is these friggin' tethers. You see what I'm saying? You know, I'm just here to take. And that's why I appreciated that sister that did that YouTube live where she cussed that clown out from Nigeria, where she told him, if your black ass was over here in Wilmington, North Carolina, you couldn't sit at the lunch counter either. You see what I mean?
And you know what? I'm glad that you bring that up because throughout the years, and I'm talking about some Africans that come in this country, y'all reap the benefits of the system and really benefit from us.
Yeah, exactly.
But just there on the side, the opposer.
Yep.
Exactly.
You sat on a seat with the devil.
Yes, sir.
And so this
it's
is
called
what
neocolonialism.
That I want people to understand where these brothers and even some sisters is really talking about, that they need to get called out too. If you do you don't like what's going on here, go back to Africa. Oh, but I forgot. Y'all don't want to go back there because you cannot reap the benefits, right? Because there are African guards over there. Do not like how you treat us over here.
Yeah, those are the neocolonialists. You see what I mean? Yeah.
So y'all still sucking on their thumb, and I'm being nice today. You're still sucking on that opposer thumb, but what do you think you come over here for?
Exactly. You say, and then the cold part about it is, like when you look at the case of the brother Diallo. You see what I'm saying? That they shot and killed. You see what I'm saying? And then the other brother that they sodomized. Yeah, that's in your neck of your woods there, underrated darkness.
Yeah, that's the one they shoved the conjure up is behind. I remember that. I was about I think I was in New York around that time too, when that went down.
Yeah, I was up there, but see, before y'all continue, I'm gonna give you a little history in New York. Some of them Africans did not support us as African descent. But when that happened, they want us to support in all of that. There are even some parts that you can't even go. They try and chase us out. I'm telling you from personal experience. Me born and raised in New York.
Yes, sir. You see, and then too is that I was up there in Berkeley. You heard me say this here before, Brother Che. And I saw this brother, man, with these copper bracelets he was making. Now, copper can relieve, man, some ailments of arthritis, right? So I'm talking to the cat, man, and he's explaining it. So a white fella sitting there, man, he butts off in the conversation. And I told the white fella, I says, well, man, this is one African talking to another one, man. How can this conversation possibly interest you? And the only thing he did, he got on his bike and he took off. But these tethers, they got to be called out. As Brother Che calls them, these tethers. Makes me laugh each time I hear that name. Say that again, Brother Che.
You remember tetherball from school, right?
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're like parasites, leeches onto our struggle, what we fought and died for our ancestors in this country. Like you said, they come over here to benefit off of it, but they're not going back to their homeland and building that up. But they steady telling us that we are katas and we your ears and all that. And it's like, how can you unite? How can you have cohesiveness? How can you have Pan-Africanness with people like that?
You can't. You can't say that there's a cog that there's a monkey wrench to throw off in the cogs of it. You see what I mean? And this is why I said you take a cat from Jamaica, a cat from South Central LA, a black cat from England, a black cat from Nigeria, get jacked up by the LAPD. They're gonna remind you exactly of what you are. You see what I'm saying? Just like how they did Amadou Diallo, where they shot and killed that man in the foyer of his apartment. Just like this brother they killed out here, man, in Las Vegas. What was that, a couple of months ago, Brother Che? Well, he was up there with a Becky. Yeah, Becky's the culprit. He calls the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. They go over there to the location where the disturbance is, and they kill him. And they kill him. See? Becky's is dangerous. Look at Emmett Till.
It's still a lie. It's still a lie that this USA government protect.
Yeah.
Even though the Supreme Court already ruled that the police don't have no obligation to serve protect nobody.
Exactly. You say because the police are policy enforcers. They evolved from the slave catchers. Like, okay, it's like this here underrated. Let's say you and I, me, you and Jesse, slaves down there in Mississippi. We decide to bum rush California, man, and go get this gold in California, right? Slave patrollers, man, can come get us and take us about this state. You see what I mean? And the way how we got back to the plantation, they didn't have no stagecoach for us. They didn't have no horses for us. We walked with them chains on. We walked. See what I mean? And then, if you ever saw a movie they made, oh man, let me see what. Okay, this is what happens when you get old, y'all. 1971, a guy by the name of Lou Gossett and a dude named James Garner made a movie called Skin Game, right? Where they were two con artists. Okay, and what had happened is that the brother got caught up, you see what I'm saying? And they threw him off into slavery for real. And then what had happened was they put that whip on his back and he got his mind right, you see? And you will get your mind right. You see, to quote old boy there in Cool Hand Luke. And then you get these tethers that come over here, as Brother Paris point out. Well, you know, man, I'm better than you because I'm from Nigeria, blah, 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 blah. Now, as Brother Paris had heard me debate, argue, cuss out, go smooth, quote unquote, excuse the expression, underrated, because I recognize being on your platform. While I went stone ape shit with old dumb bunny Sarge. Well, you know, it was your own people that sold yourself into slavery. I read Lerone Bennett. The white man came with lies, deceit, alcohol. He came with all kind of methods of divide and conquer. Now, what they don't show you is that you did have some of the people who did try to go raid those slave ships before they left the port to retrieve some of their relatives. Now, another contradiction is when you look at the case of Sin Q, who was the king's son. Okay, what is that? The Mende, Brother Che, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Mindy.
Yeah, the Mindy, right? Okay. And they even made a movie made by Steven Spielberg called Amistad. And I'll never forget the white dude that played the lawyer, Matthew McConaughey, who said, well, these ones who were born here, we got them, you know, we got their minds, you see what I'm saying? And the U.S. Supreme Court had ruled, yeah, that Sin Q, he can go back to Africa. You see what I'm saying? But you had old Morgan Freeman, who I cannot stand as an actor. And yeah, Mr. Freeman, I'm talking about you, okay? And you too, Samuel L. Jackson, with your Uncle Sambo ass. You see what I'm saying, at the last Super Bowl. Cory Booker, recently, Minstrel Show. You know what I'm saying? No, man, you know, America. And that dude had to have some stash somewhere, man, to stay up there for 24 hours. It was a minstrel show. It was a minstrel show. But as soon as we come up here talking about being self-sufficient for ourselves, oh, you guys are black racists. How come you're not all inclusive? Inclusive for what?
Yeah, and also
yes,
let me add this on that a lot of people probably. Miss Fields, thanks for coming. Thanks for gonna catch the replay. I know you're busy. Thank you, and you know, thank you so much. But the thing is that I want people to understand that all this is all connected to Dr. Martin Luther King, despite he was a spiritual man. But so I gotta say before you came on Shabaka, you know, and brother right here. He wants people, the rest of the world, to understand that we part of God's family, no matter what God is. But he wants people to understand that we part of God's family, and with all the economics and all the rights, and he wants us to have those same rights. And so you have to understand he was fighting on the not just a political belief. The political that we need to have. He's not talking about the social, but also he talked about the spiritual and economic, all above that we should have. And it was threatened.
Yes, sir.
And it was threatened because 3 years prior to that, Malcolm X got assassinated on February 1965. Now, I want people to understand, because I have to learn this throughout the years, that for me, or I could say for me, even before like 64, when they passed the civil rights bill, but when Malcolm X got assassinated, Martin Luther King starts seeing the system for what it really is. I'm not saying he didn't see it like that. I'm not saying he didn't, but to see for what it really is, because that ripple effect, because Malcolm X, the late great Malcolm X and the late great Dr. Martin Luther King, they was gonna do something that even the ones even like decades ago that was trying to do, and they even got assassinated. That's when I'm talking about the Black massacres. Even decades before that, what they trying to do, stand up for our people and stuff, economics and all that. And we have to understand that the J.A. Hoover, that loved little boys, was the head of the CIA, and we have to understand.
No, the FBI.
FBI, right? And so I want you to understand it left a ripple effect that Martin Luther King. They say he was a revolutionary. Yes, he was, because we have to give him credit. He did help push the bill, civil rights bill. But what he have to understand is the deeper effect of the DC Democrats,
yes, sir.
and also Republicans. I ain't gonna leave them out, but the DC Democrats at that time was they was in charge of all branches of Congress at that time.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
have to understand that he wanted to take that on, and he paid the price for it.
Yeah.
And that's why when I did the live yesterday, I want people to understand when I did a live yesterday, yeah, I wasn't myself. I was pissed the fuck off because again, y'all keep disrespecting this man that he paid a price for us. Y'all fail to understand that his last strike. Let me put my picture up there. Hold on. Let me put a picture up there. Y'all want to see I am a man. That's the last strike. That's
down in Memphis. The sanitation
workers. Because the sanitation workers did not want to pay these black men what they deserve.
Exactly.
And that's what, and we consider us as second-class citizens. This back in April,
if not third-class citizens,
right? Because he got a few hours later. That's when he got assassinated.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And one thing about Dr. King that
So I want people to understand that he paid a price.
Yes, sir.
And y'all still don't want to we talk about the birthday, no doubt about that. Oh, he do well good. Well about it. Yeah, also. But when they assassinated, you took away some us as African descent. You took away some from us.
Right. And then even Dr. King had realized and Dr. King did realize his mistake when he said, I led our people into a burning house with integration. Yes,
and he's trying to fix that, and he still got assassinated.
Yes, sir. And then to find out that came across the information that I've researched within the last year, too, Brother Paris, is that Dr. King's children have hooked up with Malcolm X's children, and they've been keeping it clandestine about for the last 25 years, and they just let it be known that one is the left jab, the other one is the right cross. You see what I mean? And what we got to do with this orange man doing what he's doing now is the perfect opportunity for us to build up our own businesses. When he said get rid of DEI, best thing that ever happened for us, because now it's forcing us what we got to work and do with for ourselves, because we are all we got, Black family. We are all we got. See?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still here, underrated.
So we have to understand that we got more work to do, y'all. Y'all go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We got a whole lot of work to do. You see? And particularly for your generations, because you guys are the ones are after me, okay? You guys got a whole lot of work to do. You got to build up these industries, man. You guys got to do this. You guys got to do this. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of it as well, too, is that once you build up the industries, okay, then you can get off into positions of moving and shaking, okay? Start calling the shots. I mean, look at the stock market that is crashing your way there, number one GRINDA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's straight tanking, man. It's straight taking a nosedive.
Shabaka, we the only reason why there is
Huh?
a stock market, why there is a stock
Yeah,
exchange, why there is a Wall Street.
exactly. Yeah, because underrated over there in your neck of the woods, man, they sold a whole lot of slaves right down there on Wall Street, man.
Yeah.
We're on
And
Battery
that,
Park.
you know what? And that's another lie we should talk about it in the future. New
Yeah.
York is very, let me tell you, New York got, their hands is very, very, very dirty when they're talking about slaves
Mm-hmm.
and also economics. And also,
Exactly.
now I'm going to throw this in here too. The Indians
Yeah.
are parted to enslave us in New York.
Yeah.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk.
Like we
I
can.
ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about people outside. Let's deal with that. But see, y'all don't want to deal with that, don't y'all? Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Yeah. In addition to that, how
Uh,
about Seneca Village, which is now Central
yeah.
Park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And this back in the 1800s.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
New York,
And
so
then
New
when
York
you,
is not all that. The Bible people say New York all that innocent right now. If you see how New York is right now, go back centuries. That would ask the question. I'm telling y'all
yes,
this.
sir.
I ain't talking
Right.
about you. I'm
Yes, sir.
talking about people outside.
And one of the biggest plantations in the Northeast was Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, bringing it out here westbound. Okay. You all heard of William Leadersdorf, right?
Yes.
Okay, there's a street in San Francisco. Now, San Francisco, number one grinder, is kind of like the New York City of the West Coast, right? Okay, because Frederick Douglass had came here. But anyway, Leadersdorf was a slave, he was a slave, but the raping, slave trading pedophiles that owned his family were Dutch, right? So he goes to Folsom, California. Now, keep in mind that not only do you have a prison there in Folsom, California, Folsom itself is a city, right? He owned a whole lot of land up there, a whole lot of land, during the cowboy days, right? He married a white woman and she got the land, and Williams Leadersdorf died poor. And he was California's first black banker. They got a street named after him in San Francisco. You got more banks within a little bit in Frisco, man. Just like how you all got Chase Manhattan Bank there in New York. Out here, the main bank in California, man, is Wells Fargo. Yeah. The same Wells Fargo that brought you the Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm.
They all got
Wells
that money from
Fargo.
slavery. Chase, J.P. Morgan.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. The
all of them.
Hartford Insurance Company, because they used to insure the slave ships. And then Dr. DeGrew is doing a study on it. And if anybody out there can reach out to Dr. Joy DeGrew, please tell her we're trying to get in touch with her because we would
Yeah.
love to have her.
She's the one that
We
came up
would
with the
love to have
post-traumatic.
her
She's
on
the one that came up,
Frontline Black News.
yeah, she's the one that came up with the post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yes, sir. And then on top of that, she should be winding down her studies because when she first started the study, she did say it would take a minimum of 5 years. Okay. So she should be winding it down. They'll say, and then you get all these rednecks, hillbillies, good old boys. You know what I'm saying? Well, that happened so long ago. What about the Irish? What about the Irish? Black family. Ask yourself this question. How come so many of our people got Irish slave names like McWilliams, McDonald, McBean, McCavey, Kavanaugh, Shaughnessy, Hennessy? You see what I mean? But you're a black racist guy when you talk about that. Well, you see, the Greeks, we don't care nothing about no Greeks because them was a bunch of practicing homosexuals, okay? Alexander the Barbarian, and you know where I'm going, Brother Che. I'm just letting underrated know. Okay, all right. When the barbarian went through Kemet, right? Okay, you out there in the desert, right? So the barbarian, he didn't take no woman with him. He took little boys with him. But when Mansa Musa got words from his generals, and he says, okay, I got to go out into the field to command my troops in the Songhai Empire, he will go tell the queen of the Songhai, his wife, honey, you got to come with me. And she was saying, well, what do you mean I got to go with you? I'm the queen of the Songhai. He says, I know. I'd much rather die with you by at my side in the field as opposed to this place might be getting overrated, then you get violated with these disease-infested individuals. This is not racism. These is hard, cold, stinking facts, as foul as it may smell. You see what I mean? But this is the part they don't want us to talk about. This is the part when we speak of such things, all of a sudden our transmissions go dead. All of a sudden, we get disconnected. You feel me?
Yep.
Yeah, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a black racist guy. And then all these bed wenches out here. Yeah, I'm talking.
Shabaka, when they say that dumb shit, it's a projection. They projecting that bullshit onto us because they know that they goddamn racist, and they don't want you to know that they're racist, so they want to project that shit on you and say, "Oh, you're a black racist." There's no such thing as a black racist.
Exactly, Brother Che. What banks do we control? What police departments do we control? What politicians do we control? And don't mention Hakeem Jeffries or Cory Booker to me. Them is minstrels. Them is minstrels. Just like Jack London, okay? The newspaper writer who was there in Oakland, where he was a newspaper writer, and they even got Jack London Square. And then when they had the Great White Hope fight up there in Reno, Nevada, Jack London goes up there and wrote this song saying that all darkies look alike. But wasn't that great when Jack Johnson put that work in on the Great White Hope?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that beautiful? And to quote the words of one of his successors of the heavyweight champions, Jack Johnson was bad. Jack Johnson was bold. That nigga was crazy. He didn't have no FOI to protect him. He didn't have no Black Panthers protecting him. He was up there by himself. And I've been to Reno, Nevada, Brother Che. You saw me do a live feed from up there.
We both been to Reno.
Listen to the wind.
Yeah.
Huh?
We both been to Reno.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And I was listening to the wind, hearing the stories of long ago, ancient African proverb. You see what I mean?
Yep.
And then, of course, I had to hurry and get the heck up out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I turned off the location on my phone when I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. For my security. You see? And then these race soldiers you have out here from New York to Los Angeles, just like when the brother with the cigarettes there under Rated Darkness, where he says, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Yeah. And what the New York City Police Department do, they put on T-shirts saying, yeah. And they put on T-shirts saying, yeah, I can breathe, I can breathe. And then somebody went and dumped on.
I remember I had Shabaka. I wore the shirt I can't breathe, and I was at work in Lily White suburbia, and one of them crackers rolled up talking about, what you mean you can't breathe? Why you got that shit on? Because I can't breathe? Because you steady still killing our people? Fuck you mean why I got this shirt on?
Exactly. See? Exactly. Say, so why is it every time that when a black man gets in his vehicle, and when the race soldiers get behind him, he had, all of a sudden he has this concern on him. Go to a place like Los Angeles, California. You know what I'm saying? Like where they killed Ezell Ford. And what did old girl say? Who was the attorney general at the time? I'm not going to do nothing for black people now. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Cop Mala. Yeah,
Yep,
you.
top of California.
Yeah. Got the man handcuffed, underrated. Got the man handcuffed. He was deaf and they put a 9mm bullet in his back and he's handcuffed. That's special circumstance.
Yeah.
Say that's special circumstance, even under the kangaroo courts of California. Oh no, qualified immunity. We can't charge him. Say, qualified immunity.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is just like you had old Wide Earp down in Tombstone, right? Letting them do whatever they want. Say, letting them do whatever they want. And the cold part about it is, people, we pay these fools salaries through something called state taxes. You pay Cash Patel's salary through your federal taxes. See? You pay Donald Duck through your federal taxes. See? But you guys are black racists. We're in no position economically, politically, to implement any type of racism, so I don't understand that. And we're not going to bite our tongues for you all to feel comfortable. See? Because this work that we do, underrated, that I do, you do, Brother Che does, all of us are in danger. But what are you going to do? Are you going to die on your feet or live on your knees?
And that's what Martin Luther King he did. He stand what he believed in. He was some.
Yeah, he did.
He was some don't agree, but he did. He died when
exactly.
he believed in. He died when he believed in. But I don't want people that I ain't talking about with y'all. But I don't want people just say that. Oh, he didn't know what's going on. He understand what's going on. That's why, like, when you talk against the power, you have to understand what comes with it. And it's that just like we get back to the late great Fred Hampton. That's what Fred Hampton had to do. A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah, look what happened to him.
Fred Hampton was only 21 when he passed away. That's
young.
And
they shot and killed him in his bed next to his pregnant wife, who was carrying Fred Jr. at the time.
Right. And that's a sad thing right there. That was an also. And so then you got photographs of the Chicago police carrying Fred's remains out of the house on the west side of Chicago, and they up there smiling. Yeah. Smiling. Mm-hmm. And understand this is not that long ago, though. Yeah. It's not that long ago. Exactly. Because 50 years is old for a person, a long time in a person's life, but on a scale of time, it's still relatively short. This is why they want all our young men coming up effeminized. See? And then, as you know, Brother Che, when they had Drag Queen Storybook out here or in the next state over for me, California, to find out that these was convicted pedophiles. Drag Queen Storybook out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad they ended that bullshit.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it was. And underrated, you had to see this bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? It was incredible. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
There was not just drag queen just started. Drag queen's been around for a minute, y'all.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely, of course.
they've been around for a minute.
And then,
Story Hour was
and,
relatively
and
new. They had them reading books to the kids in California. Underrated.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in Fresno. And then keep in mind though, too, family, was it who was it? I think it was Dick Gregory, if I'm not mistaken, when they talk about Victoria's Secret. And
Yeah,
you know what the
it,
secret was about Queen Victoria,
it
right?
was King. It was King.
Yeah, he was a man. Yeah,
That's
he
the secret.
was a man. Say, and this is as per Dick Gregory. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, what
See,
was the other clip? And then too underrated, here's one
uh-huh,
for Dick Gregory, who
uh-huh.
did the video, Brother Che, that we showed on Frontline Black News about, what was that, 2-3 weeks ago? Where the dude came out there, he slipped, and he said, yeah, we was all on the balcony with Dr. King and Memphis, and we stood by and they took the shot. The dude slipped.
Yeah, yeah. He said he stepped back. That's what old
Yeah, then they took the shot.
Jesse was up there with him, and
Yeah,
Al.
Messy Jesse was up there with him. Ralph Abernathy was up there with him. Okay.
If you'll notice, I know you see the thumbnail, right?
So the what now underrated?
The
The
thumbnail.
thumbnail.
Yeah, the one in the corner.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You know why I put that, right?
No, I was wondering why
Okay,
you.
I don't see it.
It's in the corner, Shabak. Where your rectangle is.
Okay. All right. There's my rectangle.
There's a
Clicking it.
thumbnail. There's a thumbnail in there.
Okay, I cannot see the thumbnail.
Oh God. Okay.
Well, I put there
I
that
can't see
thumbnail.
it.
Anyway, why I put that picture there, I want you to understand the significance when he was marching. See the
Mm-hmm.
participants who walk with him.
Mm-hmm.
And there goes your answer.
I thought that was a picture of you. I thought that thumbnail was a picture of you on the Reddit.
No, well, hold on. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay.
All right.
Pull it up. See, hold on,
See
y'all.
how they
Hold on.
playing games with these computers?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to oh shit, okay, cool, okay. Oh, slides, okay. Work with me, family. So
Okay.
try to support. I ain't did this in a while. Um, just no. Nope, that's not it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So I'll try to pull up so there we go. Last time seed. Okay. Let's see. Hold on, family. I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
try to pull this thing up so I can show y'all. Yeah, open it. Okay, I think that we let's see. So bear with me. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
Okay.
No, that's not it. They're trying to pull this up. What's up? Okay, video. Oh, slides. No. Yeah, this slides. Upload a document. Say pictures. I haven't done this in a while, family, so bear with me.
Absolutely. I'm still learning it too, underrated. Now, these computers and stuff, Brother Paris, this is your generation, man. Now, I remember the highest form of technology when I was coming up, man, was a transistor radio and a microwave. Now, don't laugh, son. You live long enough, you be old too.
Yep, gotta live long enough to get there. We lost underrated, but we'll
Okay.
hold it down until
Now,
it comes back.
what underrated?
He'll be back, Shabaki. He probably clicked the
Okay.
wrong button or something.
Okay.
Well, you know,
For the broadcast.
Nigerian.
Oh, okay. He's re-adding us. Okay. Underrated. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, he re-added us. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was messing.
Okay.
It was messing up. So I'm trying to I got the picture. I had the picture. It slides. No, it's not slides.
Are you trying to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is different than the StreamYard. StreamYard is easy.
Yeah.
StreamYard is very easy. So I'm trying to I did it a few months ago. Now I don't know why. Okay. Today's date, see, 2/4.
Okay.
KFC. I'm about to go to camera. Let me see.
Okay.
That's not it. I know see pictures. I just trying to boy. Basically, let me see something. Well, it's a thumbnail of Dr. Martin King, Reverend Abernathy,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to pull. That's what my thumbnail was. So I'm trying to
Okay, underrated. Would it by any chance be the picture of Dr. King standing on the balcony in Memphis, him and Ralph Abernathy and Jesse Jackson?
No, that's the one I was
Okay.
looking for. I tried to pull that up, but it won't let me.
Yeah.
I'll try to
Yeah, you
get
see
that
how
one.
selective they get.
I tried to pull. It would not let me because I was gonna use that thumbnail too, but it would not let me. So I said, "All right, y'all motherfuckers, y'all all right? Y'all want to y'all want to like okay, well so okay." Let's see. Oh, let me see something. Let me see. Let me go here. Shit. I think I know that. Y'all keep on talking.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Go
and then
while I'm
also
doing
too,
this.
ladies and okay, and then also too, ladies and gentlemen, we have to also look at is that in the 1970s, okay, is that when you had the average white band plagiarizing James Brown's beats and what have you, okay, with the entertainment industry in particular, they start coming up with this all-inclusive stuff. Biggest counterman to our progress, okay, is because I've gotten hate mail, as you know, Brother Che, you know, where they called me everything but a child of God when we was doing blog talk. And these OTBs, meaning other than black, they're saying, well, that there happened so long ago. You know, why y'all still talking about it? Okay, because the black experience ain't your experience. And we don't care how many buck wenches your women are laid with. We don't care how many bed wenches that you white men had laid with. You see what I'm saying? We're going to speak this truth, okay? Now, if you're going to have some racial healing in this country, you got to speak about this truth, you see. And we cannot be having our men folk coming up here shoving ketchup up their rectums talking about they having a menstrual cycle. Just like yesterday over there in Maryland, or the day before yesterday, where the woman refused to compete against a man. And she says, because I have an unfair advantage, what she was right about, you see. So I don't understand this Eurocentric bullshit. I really don't. I really don't. You see? And then, like we said about the barbarian, okay? Not taking no women with him. He takes little boys with him. So what does that tell you? Or what should it tell you? You see? Now, they got their human rights. They have their civil rights. But you ain't got no right to come up and tell me that you're a woman. You see? Because you don't see no estrogen nowhere. You see? And then they had the audacity to tell you and I that something is wrong with us because we don't go for this bullshit. And that's exactly what it is. You see? And you can't even meet these clowns halfway. Okay, now you got your human rights and what have you. You got your civil rights. Why are you all up in my face? You know, talking about the crack of your nasty's ass is a woman's room. You're crazy. But you got your human rights. You see? But you all don't even want to give us that. You know, you kill us. You see what I'm saying? Oh, well, he made a mistake. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's just happened. And as Brother Che has pointed out, they got too much qualified immunity. See, that's the problem right there. You know, these dudes are not being held accountable. Look what happened to our sister there in Illinois. What was her name, Brother Che? Miss Massey? Mm-hmm.
Yep, Sonia Massey, Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah, yeah. No search warrant. And then the cops, you know, go put, what was it, about 18 bullets in her? Same thing with Breonna Taylor. Mm-hmm. Then, down there in Kentucky, the attorney general is black. Oh, no, I'm not filing charges against him. You know, what's good of having you black politicians when you don't represent the interests of black people? But these dumpsters, they represent racist white supremacy. Cory Booker, you're a minstrel show. Mm-hmm. That's it. Straight minstrel show. Well, we're all the same. Well, all of you who think that we're all the same, come join me out here in this desert. And in 2 months, well, we're going to have a wind chill of about 99 degrees at night, about 115 at noon, at the peak time. But we all the same. And I'll show you that we ain't the same. And this isn't hatred. See, this is not hatred at all.
Okay, this is the picture. I have to do it another way. This is the picture I'm talking about.
Okay, you got the picture underrated?
Right there.
Hold on, underrated. I'm in my kitchen right now. Hold on, let me get back to the laptop here. Okay, yeah, Ralph Abernathy. Okay. Let me see right here. We got Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King, and if I'm not mistaken, there's another brother over there, the brother on the right with his thumb up. I forgot his name. I've seen this picture, and keep in mind, people, my memory ain't what it used to be, and that is over 60 years ago.
Yeah.
So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. On anything. They say, yeah. So, get ready for another recession, people. Stock market is still taking a nosedive. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, there was another dude in his era underrated darkness, a white guy by the name of Bob Dylan, who made a song called Blowing in the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they did it, and they doing a film on him as well. Then, let me think. Then you had Curtis Mayfield that made a song called Keep On Pushing in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Then he made another one called Moving On Up. Then, when he left the Impressions, now you got Curtis Mayfield doing a cameo appearance in a movie called Superfly, glorifying drug dealing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you see how the entertainment industry, ladies and gentlemen, compromises black folk? Mm-hmm. Look what happened to Sam Cooke. And also, too, Brother Parrish, didn't we do a show on Sam Cooke?
Yep, we sure did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because Sam Cooke wanted to control his music. He wanted to start producing his own music. Now, how is Sam Cooke up in Hollywood at a party, then he winds up, like, say, about every bit of 10 to 15 miles south on Figueroa and 88 and gets killed in a motel room? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then to find out that the woman he was with was a setup artist. Mm-hmm. Grabs the man's clothes, runs out of his room. So Sam Cooke gave chase on her, and it was a black woman who was the motel manager that shot and killed Mr. Cooke.
She was a known felon. We got to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a known felon.
Known felon with a firearm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Working
Yeah.
with the system.
Yeah. And they probably extorted her there, underrated darkness. Say,
Yeah.
well, if you don't do this or say this, we'll do this here to you. Los Angeles is famous for it. Look at the Rampart scandal.
And after all that happens, all the man just disappeared.
Yeah. All of a sudden.
All of a sudden, she disappeared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
therefore,
said, we don't have no record of her. Yes, I do. What y'all looking for?
Okay, I can barely hear you, underrated.
I said, all of a sudden, we don't have City of Los Angeles said, we don't have no record of her. Yes, I do.
Yeah, they do. They suppressed it. They're famous for it. Look at the case of Geronimo Pratt, how Johnny Cochran stayed with him from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. And they had to release Geronimo Pratt, who was a political prisoner, who was in prison for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. On what happened?
Yeah, we have to understand here too. Well, I'm getting ready to get off, brothers, because I want to rest a little bit. I did a live earlier, and I promised that I was going to come back and do this. And so Brother Shock, I want you to make your last remarks. And Brother Jesse, make your last remarks. I want y'all to stay, and I'm going to make my last remarks. We'll close it out as a family.
Yes, sir. Okay, black family. Okay, stay black, stay dangerous. Keep your head on the swivel. We're all we got. Okay, we did create the hashtag resurrection of the mental dead. Okay, we created that. So hopefully we'll get credit for it. And then as well, too, we have to build up our own businesses, our own infrastructures. And like I said, and I cannot emphasize it enough, with the dumpster getting rid of DEI, the best thing to happen for black business, because now we don't have to hire them. That's my closing statement.
Cool.
Thank you for having us on Underrated. Number one grinder. Chain Krummer, Jesse Paris, the Frontline Black News, the Black Experience Enhanced, the Revolutionary Agenda. And we are reclaiming our legend, our icon, our activist, our revolutionary, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he told us on his way out that he was coming to Washington to get our check, and we're gonna fulfill that. We're coming to Washington to get our damn check. Okay, what the hell you owe? You owe reparations. It's not a hand.
Right.
It's a debt that's owed. And in honor of the Honorable Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we're gonna get that check. So appreciate you having us on Underrated Darkness. Please join us tonight for Frontline Black News on YouTube. And like and subscribe to all our platforms, Frontline Black News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter, now X. So peace, love, life, reparations, and separations, and black empowerment. Chan Krummer, signing off from the Mile High Income and illegal migrant flooded city in the sundown town known as Aurora, Colorado.
Stay right there. I want y'all to stay right there.
All right.
Stay right there, because I'll make one. We're going to close that as a family. I want y'all to understand this. People from outside. See, the brothers has broken down things around the 60s and the 70s and all. Now, I know there going to be some, and it doesn't connect with Dr. Martin Luther King, and it doesn't like that. But then Dr. Martin Luther King knew what he was up against. And I want your brothers to talk about this tonight, if you don't mind, of a continued disrespect of his assassination on 57 years from yesterday. The constant disrespect that y'all won't even go on the pod. I'm not talking about the ones who went on the podcast. Y'all, I know some of y'all did it, and they don't want to show it. I get it. I ain't talking about y'all, whoever y'all are. But the majority of y'all, you know, and I want people to see my face. Let me see. I want you to see my face loud and clear. Very, very, you know, but you're talking about stand-up people. You keep on talking about all this, but y'all won't even take the time to understand what this man died for. April 4th, 1968. What he had to stand against. Even the religion, community had turned against him.
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying, y'all? Because he stand for us. And y'all couldn't even take the time to do a podcast.
Yeah.
To understand, to respect when he had paid the price for us. And that's why you wonder why they don't take us seriously. Wonder why. On behalf of my channel, The Underrated Darkness, yours truly, the #1 grinder. Oh, okay, cool. All right.
All right. Okay. So he had to make a readjustment. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go finish up. I said, no, I'll go repeat it again. I'm glad that you're here. And I said, you wonder why that we don't get taken seriously because you could not take the time, the importance, why he paid the price. Wow. How he paid the price. April 4th, 1968. Yesterday makes 57 years that he paid the price. And y'all couldn't even take time to talk about it. Why does it apply today? Why we still have to keep on fighting for our rights? And I'm not going to get into the religious community right now. Y'all should be ashamed for yourselves. Y'all should be ashamed for yourselves.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to tell you this. This might be a continuation to next week. I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm really thinking about it right now. I'm most likely, God's will, I'm going to come after your helmet too. I might do a lot for that. Because he paid a price for y'all too. Even the political paid a price for y'all too. Even the unions paid a price for y'all too. And then y'all still do not want to have anything that deals with his assassination. And you wonder why. How I feel what I feel. Not talking about the brothers. These brothers feel the same way too. As I know some of y'all as a people feel the same way too. I feel for y'all because it is, come on. But at the same time, y'all love that money, right? Y'all love the rights, right? Y'all love, especially the people in the union. I want to get the people in the union too. I ain't talking about some. There's some of you do represent us, so I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all do be representing, and y'all be standing up. So I'm not gonna talk about some. But majority of y'all in the union, y'all something else. Yeah, y'all eat real good. But Martin Luther King, he paid the price to make sure that some of us as a people be part of the union, so we can feed our families and build our community. And you still don't get the picture.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's a fact. But keep in mind that a lot of them are bought off as well too. You see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A
Y'all
lot of
eat
them are
real
victims
well,
of
the devil
extortion.
say. Y'all eat real well.
Yeah.
All they give you that nice shiny house. Your family be fed nice car. You know, hey, I can go on to certain affairs. And I'm talking majority. I'm not talking about some. There are some that do stick up 5 people. So I'm not talking about, let me say that again. I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking the majority. And the political too. That he paid the price. And y'all don't want to say nothing. But over here, we're going to respect. You're going to put some respect on his assassination. Because he paid the price. He paid
he
a
did.
hefty price.
Yeah, he paid the ultimate price.
The ultimate price. Thank you.
Yeah, he paid the ultimate price, you know?
Yesterday, 57 years, he paid, like a guy, shot. He paid an ultimate price 57 years ago, yesterday.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't that long ago. I was going on 2 when he passed.
Yeah, I was 8 going on 9 when he passed. And then when the word came over mainstream media at the time, where CBS says we got a special report that Dr. King had just been shot and killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And I remember my mother was in the kitchen cooking dinner, and she says, "What's the special report?" I said, "I don't know, Mama. They just said some man named Martin Luther King just got shot and killed." And oh boy. And that day right there, man, whoa. People were crying in the street, man, and what have you.
Yeah,
Then they start coming with all the special. Yeah. And they came with all the special reports. At the time, you had CBS, NBC, and ABC. And they talking, and Walter Cronkite, who was doing the news, they came on there talking about that Dr. King was shot and killed, and it was on. It was on, people. You know what I mean? It was on.
Yeah, and also let me throw that point before I get off too. I was around when Dr. Martin Luther King mom passed back in 74. I was 8.
You talking about his mother who was shot and killed in the church playing the piano?
Yes. Back in 74. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. I remember Alberta was his mama's name.
Right. Now I was around at that time. And that see, like I said, I can't remember. My mother and father told me when I told him when Martin Luther King when he passed and everything. I remember I see my mom and father crying, but I didn't understand the significance of when I got older. But I was around when Alberta King got shot and killed.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he got in the church.
Yeah, playing the organ.
Right, playing the organ. That's in the spiritual institution.
Yeah. Same thing with Dylan Roof did.
Right.
Remember Dylan Roof? Yeah, remember Dylan Roof where he went down there?
No, that was not the first. Back in 60, back
no,
in
it wasn't.
1974. Do your homework, family. They went in there and
yeah.
And then we know 5 years later, Martin Luther King father, Martin Luther King Sr., he passed away in 79. I just want people to understand that, get back to the mother, hide the system. Wherever you stick them for what's right for us as a people. They even find people that looks like us to shut us up.
Yeah, through extortion. We hanging 25 years over your head. Say, look at that dude O'Neal that set up Fred Hampton.
For $300.
Yeah, $300.
So
they gave him $300 to set up Chairman Fred.
So when I put the picture, I showed the picture. But when I put this picture back up there, people, that's the last demonstration that Martin Luther King, the late great Dr. Martin Luther King, was with on. That happened in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm
Yeah,
repeating again because the sanitation workers refused to pay them because of the skin of their color, and they walk out and
exactly.
said, "I'm a man.
Yeah.
I am a
And then
man."
not and then also too underrated is that the sanitation workers who are black, okay, they had to step outside, because it was all segregated. So what had happened was two of these brothers had got inside of the I guess the part where you put the trash in the garbage truck. So a
Mhm.
rainstorm had happened and it had ignited, not ignited, but it had flipped on the crusher system. So these two
Mhm.
sanitation workers who were killed, they were crushed to death. So that's when Dr. King said, well, we got to go up here and speak up for the sanitation workers.
Yeah.
And then he was at the Lorraine Motel, and Brother Parrish, you and I, we had showed the clip of where the sellout was standing there and he slipped. Dick Gregory had shown it originally, where the sellout got up there and stated, yeah, that we were standing there with Dr. King on the balcony,
That point,
and we
but
stepped out.
they probably don't know what the sellout. Who was the sellout? So say the name, please.
Okay, all right. I cannot recall the name of the sellout, but Dick Gregory does have a file footage on it,
Message Jesse.
Underrated Darkness.
Message
Yeah,
Jesse.
Messy Jesse was up there. Messy Jesse
But yeah,
was
we
up
know
there
Messy
with him.
Jeff. Right. Yeah, Messy
Yeah.
Jesse, yeah.
Ralph
And
Abernathy was up
and
there with him.
3 years later, all of a sudden, he discovered the Rainbow Collection. You can't make this up.
No, you can't. You can't make this shit
You
up,
can't
man.
make
You know
this
what I'm
up,
It
fam.
saying?
was a Rainbow Coalition and the us. The
The
us.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Coalition. So what's rainbow? See, that's what I see. I gotta get off after this. So I'm saying, Jesse Jackson, which rainbow you talking? You talking about this rainbow right now? Are you really? So you talking about that rainbow you was talking about back in the early '70s? Jesse Jackson, messy Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, and
Because
here's
you
one for
cannot
you
talk about the
underrated.
rainbow what we talk about. So what rainbow you talking about?
Exactly.
You automatically you got millions of dollars 3 years later, 3-4 years later, after Martin Luther King had paid the price. Now all of a sudden your coalition started getting work, and we know it takes time to have a coalition to be working. I mean, get it going through. I mean, it takes years, but all of a sudden you got it going on, huh? And how you been? And then all of a sudden, maybe 20 years later, you ran for office back in 1984. And all along,
Yep.
man, you was getting a lot, you was getting millions and millions of dollars. And please don't say that the people here raising. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying that I think you know what I want to put this out there before I close out and everything. Jesse, you must have talked to the head of the CIA, did you? Huh? That's your grandfather or something? Because you getting a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of money and a lot of press.
Yeah.
A lot of press, boy.
You can see him at the
Yes, sir.
1958.
A lot of press, and then you got the nerve to throw on your dashikis and
Yeah.
all that, trying to act like you.
Oh, glad. Oh, now underrated.
Go ahead, Shabaka. Tell him the
Now
story.
underrated. You just brought back a memory. August 20th, 1972, Watt Stacks. There was a concert at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Messy Jesse is up there wearing a red, black, and green dashiki, talking about, pro this, pro that. Then all of a sudden, Messy Jesse comes up with the push organization called People United to Save Humanity, right? Then he comes up here with this Rainbow Coalition. Then you got a picture of Al Sharpton years later carrying a rainbow flag with a banana in his mouth. Connect the dots. Connect the dots. Yeah, Al Sharpton, I'm saying that about you, and I'm taking responsibility for this statement, Al Sharpton, and get with us on Frontline Black News, you bobblehead trick, if you dare.
And understand this, y'all. This all public record.
Yeah.
It's all public record.
Yep, it is all public.
It's all public record.
Yeah.
And also, like, you see, I don't like y'all. Y'all be starting me up. So I gotta say this though too. Right? I gotta say this though too. And Al Sharpton, and I gotta say it in New York, when that New York detective got shot a lot of times by his own detective, right? You was very quiet about that. And you were supposed to be irreverent. You said something about that, and somebody hushed you up. Happened in New York.
Through bribes
I was a teenager.
or extortion.
I was 18, 1984. You about that, right? Just about the Central Park jogging case. Just like Yusef he got killed up in Howard Beach in New York in Queens back in 1989. That's the same year my late father passed, so I remember that. But all of a sudden, you ain't really going after Donald Trump. I call Irish Crush 47 now. When he said they need to get on a death penalty, quiet as a mouse. Now all of a sudden you eat their courage now.
Yeah,
and you bring it up long for over 30 years later.
Right, and it was the Democrats that pushed that shit too.
Yeah, they pushed it. And I'm gonna say it like this: Joe Biden was a second generation Dixiecrat. You know who was his mentor? Strom Thurmond.
Thurmond, E.C.
Thurmond, yeah, that part.
All those clans.
That's his mentor. So that means they in continuation pushing KKK laws.
And then look at George Wallace. And then look at old frog face. George Wallace. Segregation yesterday, segregation today, segregation tomorrow. Old frog face.
To understand what I'm saying, family, all this thing is really connected. Only just got connected us to know the history. And the thing about this now, they said Jesse Jackson looks sick and everything. Hey, I guess you know. Yeah. I guess you on that minstrel for like almost 60 years. I mean, almost 60 years. You know what they said? Huh? Next.
He got so sick he had to step down from that Rainbow Coalition.
And then people, when Mike Brown got killed, we want to give a shout out there to them brothers in Ferguson. When Jesse Jackson had came through Ferguson,
I was out
there. Brothers was having them RBG flags, and they told Messy Jesse, "Hey man, shake the spot.
Yep.
You got like about 10 seconds to put this raggedy ass thing you driving and get up out of here." Yeah, we don't need you here, Messy Jesse. You see? After they shot and killed Mike Brown. Well, Mike Brown was a thug. Mike Brown was this. Now, I can see the cop shooting him in the leg. I can see him shooting him in the foot. But police officer, I forgot the cop's name, kept Darren Wilson. You shot dead center mass. Okay? Just like up there in Minnesota with George Floyd. Okay? Chauvin had his knee on his neck. And how long do we count? Brother Che, what was that there? About 9 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, because you and I looked at the video again and again and again to see the actual time when Mr. Floyd had transitioned. And then keep in mind that Mr. Floyd had urinated on himself, because you remember when you and I was looking at the video and I said, man, it looks like antifreeze coming out the car.
Yeah.
And it was the man's urine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's murder in the first degree. Chauvin knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get use of force experts from the LAPD that said that this is definitely murder, and then old dumb Bunny Sarge, oh, nah, man, it wasn't murder and all that. And we're sitting up there arguing with Sarge, who had a case of cognitive dissonance, when the LAPD's use of force expert said, oh, no, this is wrong.
Sarge is a former Crook County police officer.
Yeah. You see? You know,
Yeah.
so therefore, Sarge, if you out there somewhere, Sarge, you lousy scoundrel, you for giving us a bogus email address because you can't take this heat, you lousy rascal, you.
We found you on
Can't
Valerie.
wait to get Sarge.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait to track Sarge down. And underrated,
Gotcha.
I know you familiar with Sarge, underrated.
Yeah. Definitely I am.
Sarge is crazy. Yeah, Sarge is crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm ready to get off now. Thank you, brothers. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for having us, underrated. And get with us on Frontline Black News sometime. You got an open invitation. I'm sure Brother Che was second that emotion. You know what I'm saying?
I would send him a link, but it's so late. About time we go on, it's usually like midnight, after midnight when we go on our his time.
Right, and I think, man, if we could do a special edition to have underrated, man, you know, I don't have no problem with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be greatly greatly appreciated too. But I want to say this, you know, I'm going to I'm thinking about really doing it's going to be a continuation of what we talk about Martin Luther King, but I do want to talk about the ones who failed us too. And I think that is very, very important, and I think that we need to talk about that to the past, even to the present, because you know we have to understand though too. There are some Dixiecrats in the Democratic Party, the second generation, even the third generation, and we definitely have to talk about that because they are playing a vital role in the Democratic Party and also in the Republican Party, and we have to understand that they need to get called out too. And I think that a lot of people and so when people talk about segregation and all that, then we better understand what the real meaning of segregation. I know there are some people, stuff like that, but we have to understand it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ponder on it. I probably reach out to you, Jesse, and then Shabbat. Jesse gonna reach out to you, Shabbat, because we got to talk about that because a lot of us don't even know the continuation of what's going on because they never abolished it. What's going on back in the 1920s or early 1920s when you know the Dixiecrats was really formed and how really you know how they never got rid of it, and then you got to think about how Israel played a vital role into it. They try to wipe out people of Palestine. Now listen, people go talking about, you respect Palestine. Yeah, I respect humanity, but I'm talking about in our community, they never really show respect of us.
No, they were responsible for getting George Floyd killed. It was the Palestinians.
Right, exactly. Right, that's what I'm saying. Right. That's what I'm saying. So I've never really so this is what I'm saying is this that now we always talk about Palestine, but Israel played a big role because the United States had given them millions of dollars since 1948.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And they owe the debit. So the United States owe the debit to them, and that's why they got all this money, millions of dollars. That's why they had their own village around this country, especially in New York. And but these are the ones do not want
And
to
Los
support.
Angeles.
Yeah, you're right. And in Los
Next to the
Angeles,
League of Nations.
right. And so
Which is
this is
now
what I'm
the
saying.
UN.
Right, and so
Yeah, they're the ones that put Hollywood on the map, man. They're the
right,
ones who put
exactly.
Hollywood on the map.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
because see what they would do underrated. They used to have a place called Coney Island in New York. Now this is in your neck of the woods. They would have those old Nickelodeon machines like 1900, 19
Yeah, the Nickelodeon reel.
06 or something like that. And then what happened is the main three movie studios you have in Hollywood, and keep in mind that Hollywood is a section of the city of Los Angeles. It's not its own city. It's because it will be the Hollywood division of the LAPD that'll be jacking you up, or ask me how I know. But anyway, so the main big three studios that started Hollywood was the Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Universal.
Yep.
Understand?
Yep.
And they are still in their original locations that they were, and all that land out there doing like who's our boy D.W. Griffith that they named Griffith Park after Brother Parrish. Now keep in mind, underrated darkness, that Griffith Park is the largest municipal park in the world. Is because when you look at LA and you see the Hollywood sign and you see that little bubble up there called the Griffith Observatory, all of that is Griffith Park. Even on the other side of the mountain where you get out into the San Fernando Valley, which is a section of the city of Los Angeles, is because when you look at these old cowboy pictures, man, like from the 30s and the 40s and stuff like that, they were filmed out in the San Fernando Valley before they built it up. Now, let me give you a secret. The way I know is because when you look at the mountain ranges, right, it is the rear side of the mountains from Griffith Park where the Hollywood sign is on. And that mountain where the Hollywood sign is on has a very, very distinctive feature. That's how I know. You see? And then it has something to do with the water too, Jesse Parrish, where the city of Los Angeles steals your water from the Colorado River.
We supply y'all along with 6 other states. You're welcome.
Yeah, say it's because there's an old saying when they had all those orange groves out there in the San Fernando Valley, is that if you cannot bring the water to Los Angeles, then you simply bring Los Angeles to the water. Look at a movie called Chinatown with Faye Dunaway in it and Jack Nicholson that was made in the mid-1970s, which will explain that too. They say, so all you cats coming from New York want to hit Hollywood, think you're going to make it big, you better read those contracts because they got all kind of double speak in there for you. And if you sign a contract to make a deal, they supposed to be breaking you off a certified check.
Got it. Okay, y'all. Got to go.
Thank you, underrated.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Y'all have a blessed one. Great evening to y'all. Peace. This one is Ghettos. See y'all next time.